2, 1.
Happy Wednesday morning. I knew you were going to do that. So I knew she was totally going to do that. Welcome to KSAT News Now, Alicia.
Welcome, RJ.
This is our bite-sized streaming newscast that you can also find as a podcast everywhere that you subscribe to your podcast.
Yeah,
so hit us with that like, rate, and subscribe. Yeah, do all that stuff there. And it is hump day, which we've had a crazy sort of like week-long sort of up and down hump-like weather, so that's why.
Oh, I was like, I haven't felt like it's been a long week. Yes, weather-wise, for sure.
We'll talk about that here in just
now
a bit.
We're at the low end of it, right?
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
But we have a question that we want to ask you. Comment, chime in on our Facebook Live feed. What would you do for $1,800?
Okay. Yes.
Would you stay off of social media for $1,800?
For how long? Should we ask that yet, or no? We're just gonna.
I guess that's a better question.
Yeah.
If I gave you $1,800 to stay off social media, would you do it for a day, for a week, for a month, for years?
Yeah.
There's a teen who signed up for a long-term contract.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that here in just a bit. But go ahead and hit us with some of those comments, and we will try and share them in just a bit. Again, how long would you stay off of social media, and what would it cost you, basically, to do so for a long period of time? This morning, Alicia, we're also going to talk about the latest on Dr. Jill Biden's visit to San Antonio, the first time that she's visiting our city for the first time in nearly 3 years. And the Supreme Court, a very interesting story here, taking on a case of whether some businesses can refuse to serve gay customers.
Yeah, plus Britney Spears, we have her on the show, well, a story about her.
Oh, we do?
She's getting paid for a tell-all book about her toxic and family circus. But let's start with...
Added toxic
I actually did that because I said it. But first, let's start with weather. Justin, good morning.
Good morning.
You are the star of the show today.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
By the way, to answer your question, for $1,800,
Yes.
as long as you would like, I would give her a social media. That's a good amount of money.
Sign me up. Really? So you're not a fan?
Look, I like social media. It's a good tool, but for $1,800.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
When I read that story, it was like $1,800. That's it?
I felt a little low for the amount of time, but you're right. I could do it for a little while, I think.
I think I could do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
Justin,
say that, I don't know. I may not be able to. In theory, I could.
Yeah.
if I gave you
So ingrained in
$5
our
for
life.
1 week, would you stay off?
$5?
Be
$5
richer.
I don't know, that is a
About
Subway
that,
sandwich. I might be in on that one. Then. We'll talk about that later.
He does love Subway sandwiches.
I do. Anyway, guys, look at this picture. This is coming in on our KSAT Connect. This is out of Spring Branch. We're starting to see some ice developing in spots. It is that cold. What a change, right? We were in the 80s yesterday. Now we're in the 30s. Cold enough in the hill country now to get some ice. Should we be worried? That's the next question. And I'll tell you this. It was so warm yesterday that a lot of none of this ice is going to stick to the roadways yet, or bridges or overpasses even yet. It's going to be things like this: metal, signs, grills. I think this is a golf cart here. The ice may stick to things like that. Now, as we get into tonight, that could change a little bit. Some of the bridges and overpasses could get slick. And I know TxDOT was de-icing some of the bridges and overpasses today. So just something to keep in mind. And as we look at the radar, all of this is very, very light. We've got some showers working through San Antonio where you see this pink color. That represents some of that freezing drizzle. Again, these returns are just showing very, very light activity. And so that's why we think impacts will be minimal. But still, it's something we have to watch. As I said, temperature-wise, 34 degrees at the airport. We are now down to freezing in Helotes, Bernie Stage at 30, 30 Comfort, 30 in Boulevardia. So you see where the freezing line is there. It's already into northern Bexar County. Feels like we've done this before, right? This is the third event like this that we've seen in about a month or so. And you see the temperatures are in the 20s, Rock Springs, Junction, Fredericksburg, and Kerrville. You add in the wind, it feels even worse. And I mentioned this temperature change, 24-hour temperature change. We're down 41 degrees now. I think by the afternoon, you're going to see temperatures about 50 degrees cooler than they were 24 hours ago. Pretty incredible. And I mentioned the wind chill, 23 is what it feels like right now. It feels like 15 in Kerrville, 15 in Fredericksburg. So it's going to be chilly throughout the afternoon, and those wind chills stay right there in the 20s going into tomorrow as well. And temperatures get close to freezing tonight, even here in San Antonio. So it's possible that even overnight we could see a little bit of light freezing drizzle here in town. The same thing applies, though. I think the impacts will be minimal. We'll need to watch some of the bridges and overpasses, some of those higher flyovers in northern Bexar County. and we'll certainly keep an eye on the hill country. That light freezing drizzle probably tapers off by midday tomorrow, and then the cloud cover sticks around, so that's going to keep us pretty chilly most of Thursday. Here's the extended forecast. So drizzle, light showers today, some morning drizzle and light showers Thursday, light freezing drizzle in the hill country, some showers, light showers Friday, and then a little better chance Saturday with a 30% chance of showers, and still staying cool in the 40s. Then finally on Sunday, we begin to warm up. 58 degrees Sunday, 60s by Monday and Tuesday. So as I was telling Stephanie this morning at the 9 a.m., you're basically going to have to wait until March for it to warm up.
Wow.
Really?
I mean, this has been tumultuous February. Yeah, well, March is Monday, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, but you
a
delivered
lot of
that
shock
so
when I said that.
dramatically. You did.
Well, when people say
like a dramatic
next
pause.
month,
There was like a gasp across the newsroom. Sorry to scare people. Yeah, March.
Including producer Alyssa was like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, that's next week. Good job. But I liked it. That was a good dramatic delivery.
Yeah,
Kind of
I've been working on it.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin.
You got it.
Appreciate that.
All right, so happening now, Dr. Jill Biden in San Antonio today to promote a pair of White House initiatives. The First Lady is set to tour a cancer center and a child development center today.
That's right, Alicia. Biden is visiting the May Center, the home to UT Health San Antonio MD Anderson, and she's expected to tour the facility and be a part of a listening session that focuses on cancer and health disparities in Latino communities.
Biden is then scheduled to tour Joint Base San Antonio Lackland's Child Development Center. She'll participate in a listening session about supporting military children with disabilities. And she is expected to leave San Antonio this afternoon around 4:30.
And we have team coverage of Dr. Biden's visit to the Alamo City. You can find that on air and online at KSAT.com. And of course, this is Dr. Biden's first visit to San Antonio since 2019 when she spoke at a junior league luncheon. And I was looking up some of the stuff because the Bidens, obviously, they launched this Cancer Moonshot. It was an initiative in 2016 to basically help fight cancer. And I looked up real quick just some facts when it comes to cancer and Hispanics. And it says that this is according to the American Cancer Society. It says cancer is the leading cause of death among Hispanic people, accounting for 20% of deaths. So 1/5. And even though, and this other stat here that I found very interesting was that even though Hispanic men and women are less likely than non-Hispanics to be diagnosed with the most common cancers, we're still the most likely to get infectious agents such as liver, stomach, and cervix cancers. So definitely a problem here when it comes to the Hispanic rates in cancer.
And then it's great that visiting those children's centers too, because unfortunately childhood cancer is such a prominent issue, not just worldwide, nationwide, but here in San Antonio. So again, her visit, she is set to land at 12:30, I believe.
Right. Initially, they had said something like 11, and then it got pushed back a little bit. So, yeah.
It'll be a quick visit.
Right. It'll be a quick one, a quick turnaround, but it'll be good to see Dr. Biden here. Especially, you mentioned some of the childhood stuff. She's obviously a big advocate for education, and so she's done a lot in that field as well.
All right. In national news, the jury has been selected, and the trial begins for the former officer involved in that botched raid that left Breonna Taylor dead 2 years ago in Louisville, Kentucky.
That's right. Brett Hankinson is charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment, and we'll explain what that is here in just a little bit. After firing 10 shots during the raid, but none of them hit Breonna Taylor. Instead, prosecutors claim the bullets put Taylor's neighbors, a couple and their baby, in danger.
During opening statements today, Assistant Kentucky Attorney General told jurors the case is focused on Hankinson, that officer's decision to fire 5 bullets through Taylor's apartment, and not the killing of Taylor or the decisions by police that actually led to that raid.
Right, and after reading through one of these articles here, yeah, that's the attorney for Hankinson basically saying like he is not on trial for Breonna Taylor's murder, and he was trying to make that clear to the jury. So wanton endangerment, and I'm glad you added this part here, Alicia, is a low-level felony and is found guilty. Maximum sentence would be 5 years in prison, and as for the jury and alternates, that would be 10 men and 5 women that were sworn in there.
All right, and the The big question that we have today also, can businesses refuse to serve gay customers here in the U.S.? Well, that's also a big question that the Supreme Court is taking up. They will weigh in on, and it stems from a case in Colorado.
Yeah, this is really interesting. A Colorado website designer, Lori Smith, wanted to expand her business to weddings, and because of her religious beliefs, she wanted to post a statement on that website that she would not offer her services for same-sex weddings.
Yeah, however, that decision would violate Colorado's anti-discrimination law, and that's according to a ruling from a federal appeals court. And this case will be heard in the court's next term, which actually starts in the fall.
The Supreme Court said it'll consider if a, quote, applying a public accommodation law to compel an artist to speak or stay silent violates the free speech clause of the First Amendment, end quote.
So again, that's a big question. Can business owners deny serving someone because of their beliefs, whether it's, in this case, it's sexual.
Right. Well, I just found it interesting that she was going to put it on the website. Really, I guess she could have met with clients and just basically said, figured out at that point if she wants to continue to do business with them. But for whatever reason, I guess because of the religious aspect, putting it on the website I thought was interesting. That's sort of what led to this whole
it's taking
case.
a bold stance, but regardless, it is discriminatory if you choose for whatever reason to not serve someone based on, in this case, because they're a same-sex couple.
Yeah.
So again, the Supreme Court will be taking a look at that. They will weigh in, and their session is expected to start in October.
All right, Alicia, moving on to some other news here. The Queen of Pop, I know you're a big fan here of Britney Spears, just signed a $15 million deal. Yes, $15 million, but it's not for her music, it's for a tell-all book.
This is what fans have been waiting on. Britney Spears signed the deal with Simon & Schuster to let fans in on her toxic life and the toxic relationship with her family, which has really just been in everyone's mind for
years.
Because of this conservatorship. 13 years.
Yes. So the record-breaking book deal comes weeks after she had a public back and forth. You were talking about drama with her sister and her family. Her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, and even sent a cease and desist letter over to her little sister's autobiography.
Okay, no. She sent the cease and desist to Jamie Lynn because of her autobiography.
Okay, sounds good.
So fans are, of course, going crazy about this deal. It's said to be the biggest deal behind the Obamas. I believe the Obamas was like $60 or $65 million.
Yeah.
And Brit signed for $15 million.
What are you looking forward to hear most about this? I mean, just
her side. I mean, she's, posted cryptic messages on her Instagram, and that's really all fans know of. And there are some hardcore fans who have pieced all this together and knew that she had been silent. So really just what was she going through? What is she still going through when it comes to her relationship? How much was she controlled? So really 13 years is what I'm waiting to find out.
Right, and just being able to hear from her point of view, obviously she hasn't been able to say much throughout all of these proceedings, but it'll be good because we've seen the documentaries and everything else come out from the other angles of all this and people basically giving their opinions, so it'll be okay to hear finally Britney Spears speak out and put this on this book.
All right, so Brit signed a deal for $15 million, but what would the average person do for $1,800?
For $1,800,
what do you get off of social media for $1,800?
Well, for how long? That's kind of the
6 years.
part of this. 6 years, probably not. No, 18, maybe for like 6 months at the most.
Oh, that's still.
It's still too
a
much
long
for you.
time. I would do it for maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
1,800.
Yeah, 1,800 for 2 weeks. Okay, so we wanted to ask people this same question here in our KSAT newsroom, and here's what a couple of folks have to say around here.
Can I do what now?
Wait, what?
$1,600? That's it?
$1,800.
$1,800 for 6 years.
6 years? That's a long time.
Nah, $1,800? Nah.
Oh, I couldn't. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing in.
That's nothing.
Yes, no problem. Yes.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I can see on social media for $5.
I want more than that. I want like $6,000.
I need it for work.
But for like $5,000? Yeah, sure. Probably would mean more in my mental health than in my wallet, though, let's be honest.
Yeah,
I love
that's a big part
Sarah
of this
Spivey's
story.
answer. It would be better for my mental health than my wallet.
Absolutely, and that's a big part of this story here.
So-
And that was also our GM Phil Lane saying he'd get off of.
Okay, so I wanted to point out something. The older generation
Oh, I
was
knew you were
quick
gonna
to
say.
say, yep, bye, peace out, social media. Yet the millennials, the younger ones in the newsroom here, we hesitate. I mean, that's how a lot of times I find out about breaking news.
Absolutely,
I talk about
yes.
Instagram all the
Yeah.
time. I'm on Instagram all
Right,
the time,
right.
connecting with family, connecting with viewers. I mean, look at us right now on
Yeah.
a digital streaming show.
Absolutely.
podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Social media. We're
Yeah.
on social media all over the place. And also Larry Ramirez, one of our sports anchors there, was saying, he's like, yeah, I'd be out too. Mario Oriana said, about that we need it for work.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you were saying. I will say this.
Solid
Twitter,
excuse, Mario.
Good excuse there. For me, Twitter, especially following sports, that is the
Yeah.
place to get breaking news sports. I don't think I
Yeah.
could live without that, not knowing that stuff.
So the reason we asked this question is because of the story out of Minnesota where a mom gave her teenage son $1,800 to stay off of social media, but she made him sign this deal for 6 years and he did it. But I also think about 18 years old, right? He's
Yeah.
18.
He's 18
Teens.
now. Yeah.
1,800 sounds like a lot.
Well, and he actually mentions that here in just a bit, but Lorda Kefsas is her name. She saw how much her teen daughter struggled with social media, and Sarah Spivey mentioned, mental type of things as well. So when her younger son, Silver, turned 12, she made him that offer, and he said that he wasn't on social media all that much anyways, Alicia, and it sounded like a good deal to him.
Being 12, I didn't really have a great concept of money yet. So I was like, oh, sick. Yeah, absolutely.
I've had it now just kind of in my savings for probably 6 months because I knew at that point I knew for sure he was going to make it.
Silvert said that his friends mostly kept him up to date on what was going viral and who posted what on social media, so he wasn't totally lost, but it was tough to feel out of the loop, he says. But of course, it gave him more time. It gives you more time to focus on important things. In his case, that was school and sports.
Absolutely. And guess what? When he turned 18, he immediately signed up for an Instagram account. Now $1,800 richer. Good on Silvert here for doing that. I just like the fact that his mom didn't pay him up front. She was like, you got to finish this thing first and then you're going to get your $1,800.
Okay.
It wasn't like kind of like a bribe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you this money, you got to stay off. He had to actually do it.
That's great commitment.
It is.
And that does make a lot of sense. At 12 years old, I mean, we have talked about it, we've read about it, how harsh social media can be. Not too long ago, was it last Friday that we were talking about Snapchat adding more filters, if you will. I shouldn't use filters because people are going to think I'm talking about like face swapping, but
like
the
security
map,
features.
thank you, there we go. Security features, and thinking about kids, and in this case it was for college kids. So, I mean, it can be a dangerous world when it comes to social media, but there's also a lot of good that comes from it.
Absolutely. And so we've been asking this question on our Facebook Live, again, another social media platform. And we've had a couple of people, I know, Alicia, you've been kind of responding to a couple of our followers here. Elsie Marie Prince Hull, she said, if it were more than $1,800, I would be off social media for a longer time. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people.
More than 6
also,
years? That's crazy.
Social media can be very overwhelming.
Yes.
Keeping up with it, I will be honest, and if Andrew Wilson, our social media guru here at KSAT, he's probably cringing at this, but I don't really use my Facebook.
Yeah, that's the one that
because
I
it's
really,
a lot.
Yeah.
Your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. My goodness, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Also, so Chris Duffy, she said, I would cut out social media for a year. So she would do it,
could do that.
1,800. And then I had read, I think her name was Sharon. But most people are saying yes, that they would do it. They would just negotiate the term of it, which is pretty smart.
Yeah. And then Max Payne, I don't know what he's referring to here. He says, this is for people who don't have a life. I don't know what that means.
Why would you read it?
Max?
What? All right, RJ, we gotta give RJ a
I guess he's
social
maybe
media.
meaning like social media, like for people that don't have a life. I don't know, Max. Come on, man.
Then
Just,
ask
let me
him
know.
before you read it, RJ. Oh my
I
gosh.
want to get into Max's head here. Max Payne, by the way.
So
it's a
you
character.
comment back. See, RJ, a lot to keep up with here.
Yeah. So everybody, thank you for chiming in on our Facebook question here, our social media question of the day, asking if you would get off of social media for 6 years for $1,800. We really appreciate it.
We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Remember, rodeo is still going on, so if you're going to be out there, bundle up because it's going to be a cold one.